Oh my goodness, these birds have been battling for a long time. Goodness, little one's trying to get it. But what is going on, Patreons? Hope you guys are doing great. I could have filmed this video before, but I just want to give people a little more time to ask any more questions. But here we go. Gregorts, I hope I'm saying your name right. Gregorts, happy to have you here. I want to say I saw your message this morning and I respond to you as soon as I can, but I have the questions here, and you had questions. First of all, actually, I want to say, Patreons, I really appreciate you guys being here. I really truly do, and I just want you guys to know that. And I will always try to keep having videos out, but when you leave comments, I sometimes can see the comments on the video, this video for example, but most of the time it's easier to leave the comments here on Patreon. It's a lot better. I'll see it a lot easier and faster because I check Patreon, and I can read all the comments here, whereas YouTube, I can't read all the comments. Okay, so Gregor's asked, is there any equipment you would add to what you have now to improve your vlogging process, and what would it be? Adding anything? No. I've just realized to be more simple. It takes away a lot of excuses, takes away a lot of problems. I am filming this, for example, on a GoPro Hero 7 Black. Yeah, that's it. And I have a little tripod thing on here as well. I'll show you guys a little bit behind the scenes. Take you guys out of here. And this is basically what I use here. And this makes the process super simple. Of course, I do have my big camera with the big microphone, all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's nice for the quality, but when you understand story is more important, and you know, and being able to be efficient, which is speed, it's using this. I know with the GoPro that when I use this, the sound is good, I'm in focus, you guys can see me, you guys can see around. When I turn and point to these pigeons that are fighting, you guys can see. When I go back to me, you can see me, and everything is usually pretty clear and everything's all good. So I don't know if I'd add anything. Maybe a faster computer in the future. I feel like my computer it's slowly, I've made about 500 videos on it though, so yeah, gonna need a computer soon. So I'll tell you guys now, if the vlog ever just stops, it's just because my computer died, and yeah, that's it. And how are you dealing with emergency situations abroad? Do you have a pan-European insurance? No, I don't, but in France, I was living in France, and I'm like a resident of France, so if I have problems, I would just go to France. Or normally here in Europe, I'm in Poland at the moment, for a little while longer, I'd go to the doctor here. They're nothing crazy expensive like they are in the States, but emergency is emergency. If something happens, then I would just go probably to wherever I am. But I've looked into this European insurance, but for the moment, I think that my insurance would cover it. But honestly, most of the time, I'd always get checked or something. If it's emergency, then I guess I'd have to go to emergency room here. But if it was something I was sick or something, I remember last summer, I had like, it wasn't an infection, it was like a bed bugs thing from some place I stayed in, I don't remember where, or it was 2 summers ago, and I just like flew back to France because I was worried, and actually it was fine. I just took some medicine and I was okay in like a day, but I was worried, you know, and I saw the symptoms and I saw a doctor in the country I was in, and I was fine. Same within Montenegro last year, with the mosquitoes. I had a mosquito allergic reaction to mosquito bites, and I had like 20 on one arm, and it was really bad, and that's why I had to leave Montenegro last year actually. And yeah, so for that, I just go and see a doctor or a pharmacist in the country that I'm in. The more important thing is I'm hoping that they speak a language that I hope they speak English, French, or Spanish, because I don't speak too much Polish to explain exactly what is wrong with me. Next question you had, did you have any moment of mood collapse during your journey and the thoughts of I need to go back away and settle somewhere for good? I get this question a lot, and you know, I don't know. I don't really have that feeling, because that feeling comes because I'm not able to do that. You know, so let's say I'm traveling and I'm like, you know, I'm really tired of just moving around. I need to just stay in one place. Then I just stay where I am. You know, I plan to go back, for example, in the 1st of August, I wanted to go to W Hour, and I was gonna leave. I was gonna go back for 1 day, then I was gonna take off. I was gonna leave. And I ended up just staying there in Warsaw for 2 more weeks, 3 more weeks, just because I felt like homesick, and I just needed to stay around people that I care about, and that I have a lot of close friends there, close people in my life there, and I just felt like I needed to stay there, and that's what I did. You know, I'm never forced to that I have to go or I have to do this, you know. So I think having that little bit of freedom makes it so it changes the aspect, because it's like, well, if you're homesick, then I just would go home. You know, it's the same when I'm playing basketball. Like, you know, if I was in Australia playing, and I was like, well, I'm in Australia, and you know, if I'm like, what if I get homesick? Then I just would tell my team, like, don't pay me anymore. I'm gonna just take a flight. I want to go home and see my family. And I realized that I could always do that. And there's gonna be a time when I can't move and do all this kind of stuff like I want to. And you know, I realize I have to take advantage of things when they're here. You know, when the opportunity is there, I think a lot of times we hold off thinking that a better opportunity will come, or the same opportunity will come around again. But I've realized when the opportunity is there, you gotta go at it, because it might go away fast. And the key about when you use action and you attack something fast, you get momentum. And momentum is like having the wind at your back, you know, and just pushing you ahead more. But it goes the other way around as well. So that's one reason why, I guess, for me, homesick, it doesn't really happen, because if I got really, really homesick, I'd go home, or make home where I am, or bring home to me. Do you plan to go to USA to see your family soon? I will go to US. I mean, I see my family. Some of my family comes and visits me, so you know, that makes things a little bit easier. You know, when they come to see me, it's of course it's easier. I just don't put it in the vlog. I don't feel like it's I mean, I can talk about it a little bit more on here than I would on YouTube, but with my family, you know, most of the time, you know, I have people close to me that are like family as well. I don't see them as much, but it doesn't change anything. When I see them, it's just like this, we speak, and yeah, that's kind of it. Curtis, welcome to Patreon. Curtis, how you doing, man? Trying to get a meetup. Okay, I would love to have a meetup. The thing about the meetups is I almost don't have the time to do a lot of meetups. If I go especially for something, like, I don't know if I told you, Gregors, I don't remember where you're from, but I do want to come to your city. I would love to meet you one day. I speak with you all the time, but a lot of times people will write me, Curtis, this is nothing at you, but a lot of times someone will just write me and just be like, hey, can we meet up? And I'm like, I'm in your city, yeah, and I want to meet up, but like, I'm really going crazy during the day, and then when I'm like, people are like, well, I saw the vlog yesterday and you were doing this, and then that's it. And it's like, well, where do you think I had time to edit that? There had to be hours cut out, 3-4 hours for me to sit down and actually produce the video. And then my personal life is huge. That's a big part for me. That's what makes everything possible. And at the same time to myself is very important. So always meeting up is always a little bit difficult if I'm not there for that specific reason. And for example, when I'm in Warsaw, mainly when I'm in Warsaw, it's really tough to meet up, because I'm really with people that I care about, and with a lot of, well, I care about everybody, but I'm with people that I don't get to spend time with a lot, and they're traveling as well, and they're doing a whole bunch of things. I have different friends that do travel for work, they travel for pleasure, and some of them, they don't even live there, they just come there to visit every now and then. So it's kind of personal reasons a lot of times why I can't meet up with people. And I wish people understood that more. You know, it's nothing at you, Curtis, but it's just in general. I get messages like this every single day. I get messages from people like, we should meet up. And the second message that I get even more often is like, oh my gosh, you were here, you didn't text me. And it's like, there's just so many people that write me, and so many people that want me to do something. And Gregors, you understand, because you always are telling me to rest and take care, and I really do that. I really had to start valuing my time, because I was just putting my energy out there everywhere, and it was just giving, and then I just realized the more I gave, the more people would take, you know. And that's one of the reasons what was behind the Patreon, where you guys actually really helped me out, no matter how little or how much. It's just the fact that you're actually giving something. It's like being a tree, you know, being like this tree. Everyone comes here, they take the fruit from the tree, they sit under it, they use it for shade, and people totally forget to water the tree. There'll be rarely anyone that comes to a cherry tree to just water the cherry tree. Everyone comes to take the cherries, and then they want more cherries, and then there's not enough, they get mad. And it's just like, sometimes it was like, you know, I had to do something to where there's some kind of watering taking place, and which is one of the reasons why I started Patreon, and one reason I started the thing where people could buy me a coffee. And you know, it's funny because I actually pay. It's a different feeling for me. You know, I had a meeting the other day on Skype. Like, someone wrote me and they just said, hey, a paid Skype conversation. That was literally the title of their email. So of course that caught my eye. But more so, you know, and it turned out, I just said, you know, you don't have to give anything to me. But just the simple fact that you valued my time enough to realize that he's busy, he has things to do, I'm gonna give something here in return for taking that fruit. You know what I mean? And that would, for me, that was one of the few times, or it happens often, but it was one of it's the few instances where there's always a difference, where I'm like, oh, someone actually is trying to, they actually know that I'm busy. So, all right, I can help them out. And most of the time, it's like, whatever you can give to help out, support the channel, I'd appreciate it. But yeah, long story short, but I feel like I can talk open with you guys here on Patreon. Another question from Gregor is, being a pro athlete is a very serious thing. For one's body, it is a severe impact, and that's why it's limited to the early years. How do you deal with protecting your body from the impact of pro basketball career? You know, honestly, I hate to say this, but I mean, so much of it is luck. Like, it's luck, and I mean, I guess they say luck is where hard work meets preparation, but I think it's like luck and blessings combined. You know, I think about it, the last 11 years of my pro career, not having any injuries and playing every game and going to every practice. The only practice I ever missed was stitches, whenever I had stitches, because, you know, if I got the stitches hit out in practice, that's a huge scar on my face, more than I already have. But, you know, it's really just, as you get older, you have to take more care of yourself. I speak to a lot of young players about this. Being 20, you know, this past season, I could tell that I'm not 20 years old. I could tell when we played those back-to-back games that next morning, like, I was just hurting, you know. And it's just like, you got to take care. As you get older, you got to lose more weight, not gain weight. And it's about adapting to whatever it is going on, the style of your sport, taking care of your body, the prevention. That's more important than the recovery, because if you can prevent something from happening, then it saves you months of pain, months of rehab, months of starting back here and having to work your way up. So for me, it's a big part of just taking care. Everyone's different, every body is different. One of the keys for me personally is I always know basketball is demanding. It's demanding on the knees, ankles, body. So one thing I want to do is take pressure away from my knees. So I always develop my quads. I cycled a lot. This past year was the first year that I didn't do a lot of leg work, and last summer I didn't do a lot of leg work like I usually do, and I felt the difference this year playing. I felt, you wouldn't notice watching me play. You wouldn't notice. If you watched me train. You wouldn't notice if you looked at my stats. All that was great, but if you were to come and spend the night with me and see how I am in the morning and see how I am walking around the house before the games, you know, as some of my friends and some of my family, then you'd understand, like, okay, I could have done better. And I think mainly of it was my diet. Diet is huge. Diet is that's the gasoline that you're fueling this car, this vehicle with. So if you're just eating McDonald's, when you're young it works, but when you're older, you're gonna pay for that the next day. So I think it's a lot of preventing things. So it's eating healthy, training, making sure that you're fit, you're not lacking anywhere in your body. What's your opinion on New York City, Atlanta? Two cities you have visited. How different are those from your family state? Well, New York is my family state. New York City, like, my immediate family's from there. Like my family. I was just born in Cleveland, so I have family in New York City. I used to go there a lot as a kid. I spent a lot of time there, actually, with my grandparents and my cousins. All of them are in New York City, or most of them are in New York City, and it's just different. It's just fast moving. New York is fast paced, expensive. You can live there. You can live in a city with, I don't even know how many millions of people live there, and you can literally not know anyone there. And I think it's one of the most awkward things, because you can feel so alone in that city. You have millions of people around you and you don't know a single person, you know. So I think that's crazy. But me, I always meeting people everywhere I go. I was walking across the Brooklyn Bridge with my friend. It was in the vlog, actually. I think it was vlog 153. I just watched it the other day to remind myself of this place I need to go to in New York, and ran into my friend walking across the bridge. I saw him for 1 week when I was 15 years old. We stayed in the same dorm at a basketball camp, and we kind of went our separate ways with our basketball careers, and ran into him. And you know, it was just like, it was pretty interesting. I was like, what, of all people to see in New York? And we caught up. He is married, his wife is pregnant. We caught up real quick, a little 5-minute conversation to sum up about 15 years, you know. But yeah, it's one of those cities where it's tough. If you got to make it. Everyone there is struggling to make it. Not struggling, everyone's trying to make it. It's hard to settle down in New York City. You got to be really used to that life, you know. But it's not necessarily for me. It's a little bit too much, you know. And Atlanta, not a big fan of Atlanta. I had friends there. I had some of my family who lived there. I've been there before. It's too big, too much commotion, a lot of traffic, oh my gosh, and even more traffic. But it was an experience there, but those two cities are not for me. I'm more of, since I've been in Europe, it's just so different in Europe. Europe is so different compared to my city of Cleveland. My family's there in Cleveland. You know, Cleveland's not a city, it's not necessarily for me, you know, my family's there. That's why it's so important to me there. Like it's more for that. You know, I don't like the meter of snow and all that kind of stuff, but living in Cleveland, I only lived there for 17 years and I left after 17. At 17, I left the university. So, you know, I saw a whole nother side. I was like, wait a minute. When I was in Kentucky, I was like, there's no snow in winter? Is that possible? Like, that's how my perspective was limited, you know. And people say, oh, I love snow. It's like, yeah, me too, for a little bit, like 2 or 3 days. But when I'm snowed in, you know, we can't go to school, but we can't go anywhere, you know. So it's not really for me necessarily. I mean, it's nice. Maybe we'll return it. Who knows? Maybe I live there. Maybe I buy a house next to my family's house. I don't know. But for the moment, you know, I think you got to take advantage of opportunities when they're there. When opportunities are there, you got to go at those opportunities. And opportunities, I had a chance to live overseas. And at 21, I came overseas, and that's been the opportunity that's been there. So I think it's just making the most of whatever you have. So hope this answered your questions, and always when I answer questions, I like to touch on different things as well. So hope you get a bunch of value from this. Patreons, I really appreciate you guys so much. I want to thank you guys for your attention. I know it's my life is kind of crazy and I can't get the videos out. I'd like to have one every week. That would be my goal in my mind, to get a video out on here every week. One like this where I'm not editing, I'm just sitting here, and I'm actually in Wrocław right now, here in southern Poland, and just make some videos like this for you guys, and basically provide what you guys, the questions you guys ask, and everything that you would like to know. That's what I would prefer to share with you guys here. Of course, in the future, I make special videos, but for now, it's really answering your questions. You know, it's about giving you guys specific value. So like I say, feel free, leave questions, comments. I'll try to get back to all of you guys. And yeah, this feels cool. Just being able to talk to you, not have to worry about like, oh, I got to color grade this, I got to make sure. No, I just hold my camera and just speak to you guys. So yeah, that's kind of it. See you guys in the next Patreon video. Take care, have a great day, and see you guys, for you all who watch the vlog, see you in the vlog.